homer, led the league in tackles with 85. The deep ball for Darius Prince, and Philadelphia's on the board first.
On the draw, this is Grayson Allen. And Allen weaving his way all the way down to the 22.
10-yard line, 5. Mayfield, dancing all around. Throwing as far as he can throw it. Jump ball coming. Crazy stuff. Not this time.
And you want to be a wide receiver. You're going to have to take a little bit of a hit like that as Brown got him in that shoulder, but watch. Oh, those are teeth.
Do we have a dentist on staff here?
What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back to a special edition. It's not Fantasy Reports, but it's like a special edition of Fantasy Reports. Welcome to Shady Sports Network. I'm Cedric, the bus driver, as usual. But tonight I'm coming at you with something different. Instead of fantasy news, I'm actually coming in at you with some entertainment football news. So this new league, Entertainment Football League. And tonight we'll have on the GM from the New York Dragons, one of the teams in the Entertainment League. So we're going to have Peter Schwartz on with us, the GM from the Dragons. Hey, Peter, how's it going?
I'm doing good, Cedric. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, man, thank you for coming on. I'm excited to hear about this league. I know I was able to be on with Sam for the interview with Andre Reed, the Hall of Fame receiver. So it is really cool to be able to talk to you other guys and, you know, you being the GM of the Dragons and then work my way through the teams and kind of see where you guys are.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's a brand new league, the Entertainment Football Association, and I found out about this team coming to Long Island back in late December and caught on with the league as a consultant to get the New York franchise up off the ground. And on January 15th, we had a press conference at Nassau Coliseum to announce the team, and shortly after that, I was offered the job as general manager. So we're a little ways into our little run here. We're doing well with season ticket sales. We're forging corporate partnerships. We're going to be playing our home games at Nassau Coliseum, the same venue where the original New York Dragons played in from 2001 to 2008. I was the radio announcer for that team back then, so it's kind of crazy to me. I always thought about what it would be like to be in charge. So now to be the GM of the team that I worked for back years ago is. It's crazy. People keep asking me, like, how does somebody who's been in the radio business for 35 years become a football general manager? I'm like, I don't know. It's crazy. It's nuts, but we're having a blast. We're going to name our coach soon, and can't wait till June 7th when we start in Danbury, first road game, and then our home opener is on June 14th. So it's getting pretty exciting and getting very real.
There we go. It is getting very, very real. We're coming up on the season super quick as we get closer into the year. So I see, like you said, you're New York through and through. What does it mean to be the GM of the New York Dragons?
Well, it's actually a dream come true. I've been very lucky in 35 years of working in sports that I've gotten to do a lot of things in my radio and electronic media jobs. I've just been able to. I've covered World Series. I've covered the NBA Finals, Stanley Cup, Super Bowls. But the best job I ever had in the world, Cedric, and people ask me this all the time, the 8 years I spent with the New York Dragons in the Arena Football League from 2001 to 2008, doing their radio broadcast, doing a little front office work, working also with the league, doing stories for them, doing their weekly radio show, and I called 3 national broadcasts of the Arena Bowl for the league. So those 8 years to me was the best job I ever had. The relationships I made, the football was great. It was just awesome. And I was heartbroken when the AFL shut down after the 2008 season. They came back in 2010, but without the Dragons. So it's been 17 years since the Dragons came off the field after their controversial playoff loss to the Philadelphia Soul in 2008. But now to be the GM, and again, I touched on it before. I always thought when I was going through my time with the original Dragons and the AFL, I always thought about what it would be like to be the GM. I thought I had learned enough about the sport and made enough contacts with the league that, maybe someday I could, graduate up to being in a front office. And now to have that opportunity to start a team from the ground floor. I mean, we are the New York Dragons, but this is a new franchise with a new look and a new identity and a new vision and a new league. So to get this thing started, I mean, it's actually the coolest thing I've ever probably done. There's a lot of long days in this. I mean, there's a lot to do before the season starts in June, but it's been a lot of fun so far, and can't wait to get to the next level and get the coach in place and start putting our roster together.
Nice. Yes. So, I mean, and then like you said, you guys, it's been about 17 years, and then you covered the 3 national title games. There's some rich football history in the New York Dragons. How do you plan to honor that legacy while also moving the team into the future?
Well, that's a great question, and we are gonna honor the past. There's no question about it. From the moment that it was first announced that the team was coming back to Long Island, even before we were the Dragons, I had so many people from the past reach out. Hey, is this thing that they call the Dragons? Former players, former employees that I worked with, people from the old league. Everybody was saying, what's the name of the team? We did have an online contest on the league's website, and a lot of the people wrote that they wanted this team to be the Dragons. So I guess it was a no-brainer. Once we found out legally we were allowed to do it. And since, 2 weeks ago tomorrow, we named the team the Dragons. We had a big event here on Long Island to do that. And the response has been unbelievable. Former players and former employees all reaching out, sending well wishes. And we tried for the press conference 2 weeks ago, we tried to get Aaron Garcia to come from California. I don't know if you know this, but he's an athletic director for a high school in California. And it just didn't work out schedule-wise, but we do hope that he can make it to a game. He wants to come. He sent the video message for us for the press conference. And I will say this, I was prepared for your question. I have a little souvenir from back in the day from my time with the original Dragons. This is a game-used Aaron Garcia jersey. So we are going to, when he comes in for a game this upcoming season, we hope it's for the opener on June 14th. But regardless of which game he comes, we are excited that we're going to retire number 8 to the rafters at Nassau Coliseum this year.
There you go. Because I was actually going to ask. That's funny. I was going to ask if he would be involved in some shape or form, but I guess that there you go. That's really awesome, honestly. Like to have that history behind it, not just the history, but like such a strong legacy and tradition and history behind it, and being a part of the AFL. They were pretty much one of the original, the original top dogs in it. So, and it looks like with this entertainment league, though, it's going to be a little different from the AFL, kind of bringing a fresh energy to the football scene. What do you think it is that sets this league apart, and how do you plan for the Dragons to stand out?
Well, the vision for the league is very, very interesting. Doug Freeman, who's the founder and the owner of the entire league, had a vision. And when you look at other indoor football leagues that have come and gone, one of the biggest reasons, probably the biggest reason that teams have come and gone and leagues have come and gone, and you still continue to see problems with some teams and leagues today, is that the business plan is not right. You have teams coming in, spending an awful lot of money on a number of things, and they aren't able to generate the right amount of revenue to stay afloat. The vision for this league is to keep costs down as much as possible, to build the league from the ground floor. The players are not going to be making, a lot of money. It's going to be back to the, kind of signs of the original AFL back early on before the players started to earn a little bit more money. But this is really going to be a league where the players are going to play for the love of the game. Our vision for the team, well, at least my vision was, and the coaching candidates I spoke to all agree, is I wanted to make this Long Island's community team. So, Our head coach is going to be a current high school coach here on Long Island, someone who has strong roots to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have an 18-man roster. And most, if not all, of those players on that roster are going to be former Long Island high school or college players. The high school players that have gone off to play in college somewhere. Now they're back home here on Long Island, and maybe they have a full-time job. Maybe they don't, but they want to get back and they want to be able to play football again. So we're going to be that local community team where these players are going to be able to play and keep their dream alive of playing pro football. And if you are a player from, let's say, Garden City here on Long Island, and you were a star player for them, well, now that whole community of Garden City is going to be excited. They're going to want to come out and watch this guy play at Nassau Coliseum. If you were a star player for Sayville or MacArthur or East Meadow or Wanto, whatever the high school is, that's gonna energize the community, and it's gonna make people want to come out to play here at for the New York Dragons at Nassau Coliseum. So I'm pretty excited about that. And the whole day is going to be great. We're going to start everything off with a tailgate party in the parking lot with music and interactive games and food trucks and things like that. Then we go inside. You have the game at 6:00. No kickoff. There's no kicking in this league, so it's a throw off. And then after the game, we're going to have a concert. So it's a whole day, and that's really where the Entertainment Football Association comes into play. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have football, and we're going to have entertainment after the games. And I think it's a great recipe for a league that has a great business plan coming into it.
Yeah, no, I remember, and that's the thing too. You guys had planned to have, different entertainment throughout it and things outside to kind of keep fans engaged. Dang, man, you kind of just went down my list of questions with everything you touched on. You just kind of hit on everything. I guess we can go a little in depth, though. You said, that you guys will have like tailgating, and kind of, just kind of get in there and mingle and mix with the community. Do you have like anything planned within the community, or do you have like ideas of what you plan to do within the community to stay involved and to kind of, I guess reach back out to, that aforementioned AFL Dragons, where it sounds like you guys were intertwined in the community so deeply? Do you guys have like anything like maybe like events, or, do you plan to be a part of, parades? I know, especially around that time of the year, it'll be kind of like, I guess, 4th of July and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, Cedric, we're going to be all over the community. There's no question. That was very important to me. And in talking to the league about this job, back years ago with the original Dragons, one of the coolest things that we did was we had a lot of youth football teams would come to our games, and not only would they come to our games, but they would buy a certain number of tickets to get a chance to play on our field in the hours leading up. So if we had a 7:00 game, we had to clear the field by 5, starting at like 9:00 in the morning. If you bought a certain number of tickets, your youth football team, you got a chance to play a game on our field for an hour. So you would find another team that bought a certain number of tickets. So, all day we had youth football games on our field. And the same thing's going to happen with the new Dragons, where our games will start at 6. We'll have to clear the field by 4, but starting again like 9:00 in the morning, we're gonna have youth football teams and flag football teams from all over Long Island and the area playing games on our field. It's going to make for a great atmosphere. But even more so than that, being out in the community, that's why it was important to me to have a local coach and local players on the roster, so that once we start signing these players, we're going to be able to partner with our local youth PALs and youth football associations, and be able to have clinics and get our new players to go out and teach kids the fundamentals of football. So we're going to be out at these clinics and partnering with youth sports organizations. We're also going to be at parades. We've got 2 big parades coming up here on Long Island, the St. Patrick's Day parades, and we're going to be marching in both of them. We're going to be present, giving out stuff, and we're going to be at where we've been at networking events for local businesses here on Long Island. We have another big one that's coming up on Tuesday night, and also again next Thursday night. So, Yeah, to answer long answer to your short question, if there's a chance to be out in the community doing something, we're going to do it. There's no question.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then you keep tying back to the original New York Dragons. What ties can you speak of that the Entertainment Football League has? What ties do they have to the original Arena League?
Well, there really is no connection other than, now one of their franchises has the same name as the team back in the AFL, but really, there really is no direct connection. Obviously, it's still the same 50-yard field, so we're going to be playing on a 50-yard field like the other indoor leagues, and really the nostalgia comes from the name and the fact that we're in the same venue that the original Dragons played in. So there is no direct connection other than maybe a handful of people around this new league that may have had some involvement with the old league, like myself. But it's a new league with a new vision and new outlook and just a new way of going about things. And even with the differences between the type of football we'll see in this league as opposed to what we've seen in other leagues, I think that's something that'll set us apart.
Okay. That's cool. And then you did briefly mention, the New York Dragons legend, Aaron Garcia. Has he been around during the forming of this league, or have you spoken with him? Or
I spoke right after I got the job as general manager, I reached out to him to give him the news, and before it was announced, I told him it was going to be the New York Dragons. So I wanted to make sure he knew that he was going to, we would like him to be part of the family. Told him we wanted to retire his number, and we invited him to the press conference a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, but he has been living out in California since his playing days were over. After the Dragons stopped playing, he did go on to play with some other teams and went on to coach also in the Arena Football League. So I don't know if he's been back to New York since he stopped playing here, but he has the open invitation and he is eager to come back and come to at least one game. And like I said, our intentions are to raise number 8 to the rafters. It would have been done a long time ago had the Dragons not gone away, but I figure 17 years better late than never. Actually, the other thing we can talk about nostalgia. After the Dragons left, obviously there were 3 championship banners, not league, but we won the Eastern Division Championship 3 straight years: 2003, 2004, 2005. So after the 2008 season, the Dragons stopped playing. They wound up just going away permanently, even when the league came back. The Nassau Coliseum underwent a massive renovation between 2015 and 2017. Somewhere along the line, those 3 championship banners, the division championship banners, disappeared. I don't know if they're in somebody's basement or whatever, somebody who worked for the team, but we are going to restore those banners. We're getting them remade and we're going to hang them up before our first game. And again, at some point during the season when Aaron's able to be here, we'll add his number. And I'd like to try to honor, some other players, maybe not with their numbers retired, but maybe we'll establish a Dragons Hall of Fame at some point and put some people into that. But yeah, the connection, I got to tell you, it's been overwhelming. So many people that were Dragon season ticket holders years ago, people that remember going to games and they're so excited about the team being back. Some former season ticket holders are actually asking for their same season ticket location that they had 17 years ago. And in some cases, it's impossible because during the renovation, a lot of the section numbers changed in the building. So we're trying to do our best to kind of match up. We think you were right around here, so let's get you those seats right over there. So I can't stop smiling because it's been such a cool feeling to be a part of this, renaissance of the team. And I can't wait for June 14th to see our fans pack in the building to see us return to the field.
There we go. And I mean, speaking of fans packing the building, you mentioned you guys just did a logo launch party, right? With some fans.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago tomorrow, we did a big event at the Nassau County PAL headquarters in Hicksville here on Long Island. And it was great. We had someone had a head count. I don't know how they figured it out, but someone had a head count that we had 323 people at this event. The league said to me, you think maybe we can get like 100, 150 people? And I'm like, oh, we'll see what we can do, because at the original press conference in January, when we announced just the team was coming back, they wanted to know if I can get them, 40 or 50 people to come. And we ended up with 91 at that first press conference, in a small little lounge in Nassau Coliseum. This one was in this big building, and we had 323 people, including 90 kids. We partnered with the local PAL and with a company called Pioneer Sports, which runs a bunch of local youth clinics and leagues here on Long Island. And we partnered with them. 90 kids signed up for a free flag football clinic after we revealed our logo. And it was just awesome to see these kids running around the gym, learning flag football, learning techniques. We had a couple of former Dragons players that were on hand for the logo reveal, and they took part as well. And it was a really cool event. We had this whole, I don't know if you saw any of this online, Cedric, but we had like this Back to the Future theme. And we did this thing with Sparky, who was our original mascot, went on to become the Islanders mascot in the NHL. We borrowed Sparky back for the day, and he came out. We had 2 former Dragons fire dancers that came out. We pretended that there was a DeLorean that came. We had a video made with a DeLorean coming and pulling up to the building. We actually did have a local Long Island resident who owns a DeLorean, brought it to the parking lot. People were taking pictures with it. And then the 2 former players, Will Holder and Jeremiah Pope, came out. And we had some local youth football players that came up. The kids had jackets on. We gave them the shirts. And when it was time to announce the reveal, Aaron Garcia sent the video and said, okay, let's start the countdown. And then the kids took off their jacket, pulled it away, and we had the Dragon reveal. And it was just really, really cool. It was overwhelming to see that many people that were there. I don't know if they were enticed by the free pizza that we were serving, but it was really, really cool. And I was exhausted. I crashed at the end of the day. It was an exhausting day, but it was a really cool day too.
That's awesome. That's really, really awesome to hear, man. Dang, that sounds like a good day. So it sounds like, when the season kicks off, it's just going to be that times 10. I can only imagine. Looks like
I want to show you what. So we had a football. We're still waiting for the real ones to get made up, but my wife did a great job in making this mock-up Dragons football that we used at the press conference with our new logo on it. And I just wanted to point out our new logo. When we decided we were going to be the Dragons, the graphic designer said to me, what do you want the logo to look like? So I said, take the old logo and put it on steroids. So if you looked at this logo and our old logo side by side, you would see some similarities. Definitely, you could see how the old one morphs into this one. But I think it's just it's a cooler looking Dragon. Not that I love the old logo, but I always wondered why the original logo didn't have a football on it. This one is grasping the football. Right, where is it? Right over here.
Mm-hmm.
So I never understood why the original logo didn't have a football on it, but the new one does. And looking forward to getting a lot of these footballs made up and sold, and seeing people all around Long Island walking around with them. So it's great.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's pretty freaking cool, man. I like that two-tone color on there too.
Yeah, they did it. They did a nice job with it. They added a little gray and black to the Dragon. I think it makes them look a little bit more meaner than the old logo, but it's cool. We've already got, and that's the other thing too is, and this is really for the whole league too. We're going to be launching a league store for merchandise, and that should be up and running in a couple of weeks. That's the biggest question I get every day on social media from our fans is, when can we get the merch? Because we gave out T-shirts at that event a couple of weeks ago, but we ran out of them. So we're trying to get some more, but the league is working with a company for all 4 teams to sell merch online. And the other 3 teams have great logos as well. I think people are really going to catch on, and to the New Jersey Ciphers and the Danbury Diesel and the Fitchburg Heroes. They all have really cool and amazing logos, and they were all designed by the league's graphic designer, Winston. He did a great job with all 4 of them. But I like to think ours is the best one.
I think the Ciphers, their eagle is pretty cool, but you guys, the Dragon, man, it just kind of embodies just that raw, like, New York energy, I'd say, for sure.
Yep.
Looks like we got questioning from Sam here. Shout out Sam. Hey, he just wondered, will it be 6 or 7-man football?
It's the plan right now is 7-on-7. I know the Arena League, which was kind of the inspiration for this league, they started out 6-on-6 last year in their first year, and they're going to 7-on-7. So it looks like we're adopting the 7-on-7 format for indoor football. Again, I mentioned before, there's going to be no kicking, so it's going to be a throw off, and wherever you are, 4th down and 20 from the 1-yard line, you're going for it. It doesn't matter. So my son's a little upset about it because he's a long snapper in college, and he's like, well, I could never play in this league. I'm like, oh, you have to go back and learn how to play, just be a center again, you know? So, but yeah, I think it's going to be a fast-paced game of football, 20-second play clock, no huddles are allowed. So I'm really excited to see, and it's going to be interesting to see how the coaches devise the game plan. How many linemen do you have? You know, in the old league, you know, in the other leagues, in the old AFL, it's 8-on-8. So you had 3 wide receivers, you had a man in high motion, you had a running back. Defensively, you'd have 2 linebackers and 3 defensive backs and 3 defensive linemen. How do you do that now at 7-on-7? What do you give up? Do you give up a wide receiver on offense? Do you go with an empty backfield? On defense, do you play 1 linebacker in the middle? Do you take away a corner? There's a lot of interesting things that, you know, they're gonna have to figure out how they're gonna do this.
And then and looking at that, like you said, there's a couple of different ways you can go about it. I know you mentioned you'd be looking at players, you know, hometown players a lot. But is there a couple? You don't have to, you know, obviously you don't want to reveal everything, but there are what are some key qualities you look for just beyond the raw talent?
Well, I think you want to get players that want to be on your team. I think that's the most important thing. You want guys who really are gonna roll up their sleeves and want to be a part of our team and want to be a part of our community. And again, the biggest reason why my vision was to load this roster. And by the way, it's going to be our coach who picks the players. The only football decision I make is the head coach. The roster is on him, but in the interview process, everybody I talked to agreed that this was the way to go to really create a family atmosphere with our team, and that was to make it, you know, mostly Long Island players. Not to say that if there wasn't a really good player who wanted to play for us or came to an open tryout and he's not from Long Island, it's not like he wouldn't be welcome with open arms, but the big core of our team will be former Long Island players that want to be a part of our team, that want to try and bring a championship to Long Island. But I think also more importantly, that will endear themselves to the community and go out and work with the youth football players and go make appearances and help us grow the sport and grow this team here on the island.
There you go. That's awesome. So I know, and this isn't even me, I guess Daniel came up with this. He was going to be on here. But through some research, you found out you were a Jets fan.
Yep.
So if you got hired today,
that stuff behind me, you can't see anything. I think it's on the other wall. Yeah, you can see a lot of Islanders and Yankees stuff behind me. There is some Jet stuff.
Okay, yeah, I mean, like most Jets. But anyway, so let's say you got hired as the Jets general manager. What would be your first few moves in that role? Like first 2 moves.
Well, if I was the Jets general manager, I would have brought back Aaron Rodgers for 1 more year and then drafted a quarterback and let the young quarterback learn under Aaron Rodgers for 1 more year. That's what I would have done, but I'm not the Jets general manager. I'm the Dragons.
Right.
So I didn't get to make that decision. But yeah, I think for the Jets, I mean, they have to find the quarterback. They have to strengthen the offensive line a little bit more. They need another big-time wide receiver now that they cut Devontae Adams. You know, defensively, they were very, very disappointing last year. This was supposed to be, you know, an all-world defense. It didn't work out. they got to strengthen that up a little bit. So the Jets have a lot of holes, but they listen, it's not like they're devoid of talent. They've got a lot of talent on that team. And I'm interesting to see what Darren Muji does, the new general manager. What do they do in the draft? What do they do with free agency? Aaron Glenn, who was a former Jet star cornerback, really wanted this job. So I'm excited that he's back because I always enjoyed watching him as a player. But we'll see. Look, I've learned something in my life that for the Jets, you always hope for the best and expect the worst because that's generally what they've delivered.
No, speaking of that, I know you're not expecting the worst with the Dragons. In your eyes, what's the cornerstone of building a championship winning team?
Well, I think at any level of football, you have to have a really good defense. You could score all the points you want in the world, but it comes down to playing some defense. And I'll go back to some of those Dragons teams that used to light up the Nassau Coliseum scoreboard. I remember one game in 2001, the Dragons scored 99 points. It's a record to this day of 99 points in a game. But they never seemed to get it together defensively. As strange as it may sound in arena football, it's generally the teams that can come up with some key stops along the way. So I'd like to think that our team will be built with, a really good quarterback and, some explosive skill position players. But I think also on defense, you're going to look for some speed and some ability to get some stops. So I think it's got to be, especially with no special teams, it's got to be a high-powered offense that can score from anywhere on the field. And defensively, you're going to have to have some athletes. You're going to have some athletic football players that can come up with some picks, that can get to the quarterback and just, wreak some havoc. Because if even in arena football, when there's a lot of high scoring games, it's really the team that can make the big stops at the right time that usually win. And that's what prevented the Dragons from winning a championship back in the day. And we're looking to put together a roster that can finally hang a banner in the Nassau Coliseum for the first time in a long time.
There we go. Hopefully you guys can get that done, especially it sounds like you have at least some history to kind of give you a little bit of an edge. So hopefully that is the edge that you need to get you over that hump. How can fans that weren't previous ticket holders? So yeah, do you guys have like your website set up and then they can go on there and purchase their tickets? Where can they go to find those to find that?
So great question. And fans have been putting their season ticket deposits down on our website, initially the league website, and then we launched our own website 2 weeks ago. So all fans have to do is go to www.nydragonsfootball.com. Be directed to putting a deposit down on tickets, and then a Dragons ticket representative will be in touch with them to complete the order. And tickets are moving pretty well so far. There's been a lot of excitement. We've got a backlog of ticket requests to get to, and we haven't even put individual or group tickets on sale, but we anticipate that the group tickets are going to be huge for us as well, because like I said, all those youth football teams, all the high school teams on Long Island are all going to want to have a chance to play on that field and come experience some great indoor football this summer at the Coliseum.
Yeah, and then has the Coliseum been hosting football games since the last time you guys were there? Or is this going to be the first time as well too?
First football game at the Coliseum since 2008 when we played our regular season finale, and it's been a long time. I mean, there's been obviously the Islanders left in 2015, the Islanders hockey team. They came back for a little bit, and then they built a new arena on Long Island. So there's been no hockey there for a few years now. We just had an indoor lacrosse team that played at the Coliseum for 4 years, and they moved to Canada. Big reason why it didn't work out was that Long Island is this huge hotbed of lacrosse. So many kids play lacrosse on Long Island, and the Riptide didn't have any players from Long Island on the roster. So that's why I wanted to make sure with the Dragons that we had that commitment to the community and have a lot of Long Island players. So there's fan recognition, and you can have those players available for clinics and those kind of things. So we do have a minor league basketball team that plays in the Coliseum, the Long Island Nets, who are the G League affiliate of the Brooklyn Nets. They play at Nassau Coliseum. There's a handful of concerts that are still there, family shows. There was just the WWE Saturday night's main event was at Nassau Coliseum back in December. So there's a handful of events, and it's just good to see the Dragons back and filling some more dates.
There we go. Yeah, it's definitely good to see some football back in there for sure. As far as your schedule, do you play on the same night of the week, or will it vary? And what night is that?
Most, I think, like 95% of the league's games are all on Saturday nights. Our 4 home games are all on Saturday nights. I think there's, from our 4 away games, I think we might have 1 Friday night game somewhere and a Sunday. I haven't really memorized the whole schedule. I'm focusing on our 4 home games because so many people are asking about it when they're looking for tickets and things like that. Yeah. I think it's like 95% of the league's games are all going to be on Saturday nights.
Okay. And is there will they be able to also, if they're not there in New York or not there on the East Coast, will they be able to see your games on your website, or is there somewhere else that they can go?
The league is in the process of putting together an in-house streaming platform on YouTube, and then the teams will also have the ability to take those broadcasts and put them on a local outlet. So here on Long Island in New York, we're in negotiations with a regional sports network. The other teams are as well. So we hope to have those announcements in place at some point in the future, a very near future here.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I look forward to seeing how it all comes together for sure. Gosh, let me see. I guess just really my last question. Every GM has a vision for their teams. In 3 years, what do you hope the New York Dragons will have accomplished?
3 championships. That's I grew up with that building and the great memories of the Islanders winning 4 straight Stanley Cups from 1980 to 1983. The New York Arrows indoor soccer team won 4 straight championships from 79 to 82. And there's been nothing since then. Nothing. The New York Nets of the ABA, the Dr. J Nets back in the day, they won 2 ABA titles. So, again, it's been a long time since we hung a championship banner in the Nassau Coliseum. That's our goal. Our goal is to pack the building with our fans, give the fans a great day of excitement with the tailgate parties, with the games, with the concerts. We want to make sure people have fun from the moment they step on our grounds to the moment that they leave. But at the end of the day, what Herm Edwards, when he was the coach of the Jets, you play to win the game. And that's going to be what we want to do too. We want to win. We have 8 games. We want to win them all. We want to get, all 4 teams will get to the playoffs. So we know we're going to have at least 1 playoff game. But, the goal is potentially have 10 games and have 10 wins. And June of 2026, raise that banner to the rafters in the Coliseum. And 3 years from now, I hope we become an institution on the island. I hope our community falls in love with us, support us with great crowds, great atmospheres. And again, just win football games, score a lot of points, hold the other teams from scoring points, and raising some banners in the building.
There we go, man. And I guess I got one more question too before wrapping it up, because this is the Entertainment Football League. Do you have or can you tease any entertainment acts that the fans can kind of look forward to on any of your home games?
Well, the Entertainment Football Association is currently negotiating with a number of different acts. You might see the same groups playing in the same multiple venues. So they're still working on that, and they're in talks with music promoters about that. I will say it wouldn't surprise me if at our games we wound up with some local musical acts that people will recognize. It's not going to be Billy Joel. I don't think he'll fall in our salary cap. I think he's a little busy too. But we'll definitely have some local music that'll be part of our tailgate parties. You'll hear at games and on the concerts. I think it'll be a lot of fun for a lot of fans.
That is awesome. That is awesome, man.
Can we bring you to the game? You want to do a concert after one of our games?
Hey, man, I am all for it. You guys bring me out there, I'll throw down for sure.
I thought maybe about doing a concert. Then my wife reminded me there's a reason why for 35 years I've talked on the radio and not sung. So I'll stay away from the concert.
Hey, I tore up my share of stages in my day, so I'll get down for sure. Yeah, man. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on before you get out of here? Or,
I'm just grateful for the opportunity to, be a part of the Dragons again. Again, it was the best job I ever had in my life, those 8 years, and now to be back with the team and in charge of this team and building it from the ground up. It's awesome. Great to be able to provide this kind of sports entertainment to the football fans here on Long Island. And just grateful for shows like yours here for the opportunity to spread the word and hopefully people will get excited, not just about our team. I keep talking about how we want to win, but this is a 4-team league, and we have 3 other teams that are working very, very hard behind the scenes to get their buildings ready, to get their coaches in place, to get their rosters in place. So while I hope to win and expect to win and want to win, I know the other 3 teams are doing the same thing. So we hope to put a great product throughout the league starting this June.
There we go, man. And speaking of that, so a couple dates to kind of get back out there to people. You said, when did you say you guys were going to be naming your coaches?
March 25th, all 4 teams will be naming their head coach. I think we're looking at 11 o'clock Eastern time that morning for the announcement of all 4 coaches. I can give you a little teaser. We've got our coach in place. We know who it is. I don't know if the other 3 teams do. We have ours. I can't. If I told you, I'd have to kill you. So I can't. I can't tell you who it is. But we do. We are in agreement with our head coach. So we're excited to announce that on March 25th. And the other 3 teams I know are on the lookout for coaches from their areas as well. So I'm excited to see who they go with and how he stacks up against our coach and our roster. That's going to be a lot of fun.
There we go. And then for the players, are you having tryouts or how's that going?
So we're going to get the coach named on March 25th. And as soon as we have the coach in place and he puts his staff in place, we will have a local tryout probably sometime in April. I think is when that will be. But he's actually going to be able to hit the ground running and start recruiting players and signing them to contracts with the invitations to training camp. So we'll have the open tryout, but I'm sure the coach has his little list together of guys who he's going to target. I'm sure the other coaches will do that as well, but each team will have a local tryout. And there's even some discussion of the league holding a combine for all 4 teams to get a look at some players that may not necessarily be on our initial radars. We'll be able to go to a league combine and take a look. But that's all going to come, and that information will be out there after the coaches are in place on March 25th.
Okay. And then when is your first game?
June 7th, we go to Danbury, Connecticut to take on the Danbury Diesel. That'll be our first game of the season. We're hoping to get a bus of our fans to come see our first game ever. So that's kind of what I want to do, because I don't want a lot of our fans to have to wait until June 14th the following week against New Jersey at Nassau Coliseum. We want to get a bus of our fans to make the 90-minute trip up to Danbury, Connecticut and go see the first game in Dragons history, get that win out of the way, and then come home and get a win at our home opener against New Jersey the following week on June 14th.
There we go. There we go, man.
Do I sound a little too cocky?
No, man. You sound like a GM. You're supposed to be confident in you guys, right? Hey, it starts at the top, right, and then works its way into it. So, they go as you go. I think it's the saying, as some would say. That's awesome, Peter, man. Gosh, is there anything else you wanted to touch on or let people know about your team or the rest of the league?
I want to get your size so we can send you a jersey when they come out.
There we go. I'm a large, man. Send it over. I'm a large. I will gladly. And
you got to promise to wear it on the show.
I promise. Hey, you guys heard it here. I promise. You send me a jersey, I'll wear it on, and I'll wear it on my show.
And what number?
24.
24, green 24 and a large.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Just remind me. Send me a message to remind me.
I will for sure. When I'll send the links over too, so you guys can get on the rewatch.
Awesome.
Heck yeah, man. This is exciting. I'm excited to be able to have the chance. Like I said, I spoke with Andre, and then I get to speak with you, and I'm going to be speaking with the GM of the Cypher. So I'm kind of going through the league and getting to know you guys. So I look forward to following you and watching you grow and
tell Randy, the GM of the Cyphers, that when we play them in week 2, we're going to have a little friendly cross the George Washington Bridge little wager maybe on that game. Maybe if when the Dragons win, we have to get something from him in New Jersey, and if somehow New Jersey was to win that game, which I doubt would happen, maybe we'll get him some good pizza from New York.
Right, you have to get the mayors involved, right? Get them to wear maybe the opposing team's jersey. So you have to have them wear your jersey when you guys win, or vice versa, right?
We'll see. We're trying to have some fun,
and that's what it's about. I mean, that's the cool thing. That's why I'm so excited to follow this, because it just really seems like you guys' goal is to get out there and have a good time, and to have these guys that still want to compete, let them get out there and compete, man. So it's not like you're not trying to be, super extremely big or go coast to coast. You're just kind of right there in your neighborhood and some good serious games. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, me too. Can't wait to get going. A lot of work between now and then, selling tickets, getting our field, and getting the Coliseum ready for some arena football. It's going to be great.
There we go. And I know you'd mentioned that fans were starting to put deposits down. So that means that people can go and buy tickets now, or is there?
Yeah, they can go online and put the deposit down, and then a representative will call them back and select their seat. We have a seating chart that people can look at now online, and they can figure out where they want to sit. And if they put the deposit down, somebody from the Dragons, maybe it's even me, they might get lucky to get a phone call from me to finish out that season ticket request. So I was busy on the phones today doing a bunch of that, and we're looking forward again to putting together a great fan base and just having a lot of fun.
There we go. And the merch too, right? You kind of have
coming.
A fan base.
It's coming. Listen, I got to tell people, listen, just be patient. It's coming a couple of weeks. And again, it's not just the Dragons. It's the other 3 teams too. They're all going to have their merch online with the league's partner. I'm not sure, that's kind of been under lock and key. I don't really know what's going on with that. They've kept that away from us. But all we've been told is that in a couple of weeks, we'll have an online store and people will start being able to get merch. Because that's the biggest question I get every single people ask me. First, they wanted to know what the name of the team was going to be, and I couldn't tell them until a couple of weeks ago. Now everybody is asking me 2 questions: who's the coach going to be, and when's the merch going to be available? And I don't have it. I know who the coach is. I can't tell you. I know
you can tell us if you want to.
March 25th, 11 o'clock Eastern time in the morning.
There we go.
People get a chance, and pretty soon, people get a chance to get merch for all 4 teams in the league.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think that's pretty cool. I'm sure people are looking for that merch, especially the ones that did follow the original Dragons, to be able to, maybe look at their kids or whatever it may be and say, hey, I got the original version, look at this version, and kind of rock them together.
Maybe even someday we'll have some throwback stuff like this one.
That'd be awesome to see some throwback unis. That's the cool thing about having that history behind it, is you do have that to build off of and continue to layer on top of it. So, man, it's been really, really amazing having you on. I guess I don't have any more questions. Is there anything else you want?
I'm tapped out. I think you covered everything, and if you didn't, I did. So, but I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it, and please, spread the word about our new league and our 4 new teams. And I would love to come back on again at some point, maybe once we have the coach in place. Well, we'll get you the coach on the air.
Yes, that's the goal. That's the goal. So after the 25th, we'll have to have you and the coach back on, or have the coach back on, however you want to do it.
You don't want to hear from me again. You hear from the coach.
Hey, we're all for hearing from you, man. We'll have you guys on. Hey, get us on here. We'll cover. We'll do a weekly show for you. We're all about it. We're here for you. We're here for you.
Sounds good.
And this has been fun. I'm all for having you back on, Peter. So
thanks, Cedric. I had a blast. Thank you.
Yes, sir. That's awesome to hear. Well, shoot, man. If nothing else, yeah, guys, you heard it here first. We got the general manager of New York Dragons, Peter Schwartz. They're going to be coming out with the naming of their coach in a couple of weeks, and then shortly after that, moving into the players, and then shortly after that, moving into training camp and getting the league started up. So, for those of you in the New York area, get back into it with the New York Dragons. And those of you on the East Coast, look into that Entertainment Football Association, because they're definitely bringing. I feel like you guys are gonna be bringing some hard hitting teams out there. I can't wait to see it, man. I know that New York grit and how it goes. So,
and just remember, if a ball heads into the stands, you get to keep it.
Yes, those arena leagues.
Right, but if a player goes into the stands, you got to throw the player back.
So you guys heard, you got to throw that player back. Well, all right, Peter. Well, it's great having you on. If anything else, I'll go ahead and let you get out of here. And yeah, just look.
I'm gonna go watch the Knicks game now.
What was that?
I'm gonna go watch the Knicks game. They're playing LeBron and the Lakers.
Oh man, don't get me started on those Lakers right now. Hopefully the Knicks can take them out, knock them down a peg. Knicks have been looking good, real good too. So yeah, hey man, don't get me started. I could talk that too for days. So I'll go check that out too.
All right, thanks so much, Cedric.
All right, Peter, have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's Peter Schwartz, GM of the New York Dragons. I want to thank him again for taking the time to come and join me over here on Shady Sports Network. And just talking about the New York Dragons, the new version of it. I guess you could say New York Dragons 2.0. It's been 17 years since their first game. And then they're just jumping into this Entertainment Football Association League that's new and popping up. Their first games will be starting, as you heard, in June. So their first game of the season is June 7th, and then the New York Dragons' first home opener game is June 14th. So check them out, www.newyorkdragonfootball.com. You can purchase season tickets, get your seats going, get some merch as soon as that's ready to go as well. And then check out that Entertainment Football Association. So yeah, guys, thanks for joining us over here in Shady Sports. And Sam, thanks for chiming in on the chat, all of you guys. So I just, I got nothing else tonight. Check me out on Fantasy Reports every Tuesday and Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And if nothing else, check out Shady Sports Network for other interviews like this, league, live games, stats, whatever it may be. We got interviews, all types of things, articles. So head over to ShadySportsNetwork.com and then come back and see me on Sunday night. I look forward to speaking with you guys. So if nothing else, until next time, we got you covered on Fantasy Reports. You guys have a good night, and it's been fun.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.